it's been quite some time since I've shown my face around here. I think the last time I uploaded was in the summer for my birthday, so it has been a while. And there's been a lot of things going on, a lot of things that have happened since I have gone on this trip. Unfortunately, shortly after I came back, my father injured himself and had to spend about a month in a physical therapy type rehabilitation center. So during that time, Mike and I were constantly back and forth, going to visit him, making sure that he was okay. And then the holidays hit, and I told you guys I started a new job this year. So the holidays were insanity, to say the least. And now during this time of year, there's like a general lack of motivation to do anything, if I'm being honest. You know, when the winter blues set in, you just don't feel like doing shit. But today is different. Today is a very beautiful day. It's in the 60s and sunny and bright. I have all the windows open, as you can probably hear my neighbor's annoying ass car. But finally gave me the swift kick in the ass that I've needed to get this video finally done and uploaded and posted. So I wanted to make this quick little intro before I just let the video play. I don't really have a ton of footage, so I couldn't see a reason to split this footage up into separate videos. I asked you guys on Instagram if you would mind me just making one big long one, and it seemed like that was okay with everybody. So I wanted to let you guys know a little bit about what happened, what we did, and I was with Jody for a little less than a week. I was supposed to leave on October 2nd, but I'm sure a lot of you, the majority of you, learned what happened that morning at Bradley Airport. A very terrible tragedy happened. Bradley Airport is home to the New England Air Museum and a lot of historic aircraft. That morning, there was a B-17 carrying, I think it was between 10 and 15 people. I'm not sure the exact number, but I think the plan was for them to just take a tour of the airplane, go up quickly for a little tour of the area, and then come back. But they had been experiencing issues with one of their engines all morning. And shortly after takeoff, they had requested an emergency landing, and I guess they were still having issues with the same engine. And upon approach to the runway, they missed by about 1,000 feet, I believe, and they ended up crashing into a de-icing facility. So I was actually already at the airport that morning. I was on my plane. We were getting ready to push back from the gate and taxi out towards the runway when our captain came over the intercom and said, "We need to get you guys back into the concourse. We're going to deplane, and unfortunately there's been an accident." And when he said that, I think the entire plane, myself included, sort of had a bad gut feeling that this was something really severe and serious and possibly fatal, and we would learn sometime later that it was. So getting back into the concourse, there was really no information. I don't know if the staff had no information or if they just didn't want to create panic, but nobody really knew what exactly happened for a while. We were sort of in limbo, and finally people checking the news stations and everything, we finally found out what had happened, and the entire atmosphere in the terminal changed. It was very heavy, very sad, very quiet. And however, there were some people who, knowing what just happened, were only concerned about what that was going to mean for them. I remember there was this woman who was in line at the United counter while I was at my gate, who was on the phone with somebody, and she was only concerned about if she would still be able to fly first class if she had to rebook. And I just looked at her and I was like, wow, really? Are you serious? So yeah, United was able to rebook a lot of us. They ended up giving me the same exact flight for the following day, so I went down to baggage claim. I had to wait there for about 2 hours to get my bag back, and then about an additional hour and a half for my dad to be able to come pick me up. They had closed down the entire airport for about 3.5 hours, and nobody was coming in or getting out. The only people that they were allowing in were media and, news channels and stuff. So for a while I just sat there, and it was a very surreal and eerie feeling. I feel horrible for the families that were involved. The co-pilot and the pilot were both in their 70s, and it was just a really terrible feeling. So I didn't get much sleep that night. That's all I was thinking about. So yeah, I did go home, only to go back the following day. And I flew down to Washington. I don't know why it's like this, but there's no direct flights from Hartford to Pittsburgh. So my two options were either fly to Detroit, which I didn't feel like doing, so I flew down to Washington, switched planes, and then I landed in Pittsburgh, and I met up with Jody. Fortunately, there is no footage of her and I actually meeting up in the airport. I was worried about finding my bag and navigating my way through Pittsburgh airport because it's big. But we finally did find each other, and there were tears shed, and it was very sweet. And then we went and we grabbed something to eat at this place called the Indian Lake Lodge, which was absolutely beautiful. You'll see from the video. I highly suggest, if you are in the area or en route to Gettysburg, that you stop there and check that place out, especially if it's during the fall, because it was stunning. So we did that, and then we just continued on the road, and we met up with her husband and a couple friends, and we went on a little adventure that night. So we did a lot in the few nights that we were in Gettysburg. I would love to go back sometime though, because I just fell in love with it. I loved the whole town, all the history and the notably haunted areas, which we did get to explore a lot of. The first night we were there, actually, we went out and we did a little exploring after hours when it was kind of dead out there, which was fun. So Jody even booked us a private investigation at the orphanage in Gettysburg, which was a very interesting experience. I didn't get much footage from that just because I was helping her film. She had her camera, and this was my first real investigation, so I was trying to be present and in the moment and get a good general vibe from the place itself. For those of you who are familiar with it, you know that there is an area down in the basement called the pit, which is quite literally what it sounds like. It's a hole in the wall that has a dirt floor, and back in the day, the woman that used to run the orphanage, she used to chain children up in this pit. Rumors say like dozens of kids at a time were shoved in this pit, and we had the option to go in there and sit and do like a spirit box session and just sit in there. And typically I'm not the type to want to do things like that. I'm a little bit of a chicken shit, but something was telling me that I had to. So me and Jody and our friend Dan, we sat in there, and it was a very, very interesting experience. Since she's the one with most of the footage from that night, I might let her tell the story of what happened and what ensued during that time. Sorry for the truck. So yeah, we had a really good time, and me and Jody have made it sort of tradition to get together every fall. It's not easy for us to get together very often because of how far we are, but we figured if we can make it a point to get together in the fall, we can do something different every year. We can go on some sort of adventure together and just enjoy our favorite time of year together. So I hope you guys enjoy getting a little glimpse of what we did, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Hey guys! Do you know how to get to the lodge? Look at that one down in there.
He's like, what the fuck?
Excuse me, sir! Hey! Do you know how to get to the lodge? Oh my god, that one has scratches all over him. Little baby. Look, here he comes. I'll tell you how to get there.
You guys have a lot of deer.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
You want me to come down there and we'll race back up the hill? As long as he stays away from me. He went through it.
None of you guys have been here before.
I have, but no, I did come up. Oh, long time ago.
But we are just hanging out. We're the only ones here, which is really nice. So I figured we could do a little bit of our own ghosty type things. But I'm going to take them around, and then I'm just going to try to record for a little bit and see if there's everything that we can get. There's people with bats that are sleeping in the bridge.
Schizophrenic. This is how people drive off the bridges.
I burped.
Oh, right, yeah.